I'm trying to learn that myself is you make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Yeah. Own the mistake, accept it, and learn from it and move from it. But it has to start not necessarily there, but that has to be a big part of it because we're not all going to agree.
Welcome to Sheelys. I'm your host, Thea. Welcome to this podcast about faith, leadership, and relationships. And I'm back with my CrossFit friends here, Chelsi and Sue. Wanted to just thank you guys for continuing the conversation. We talked in our last episode about finding strength through CrossFit journey. And today we're going to just focus in on the community. You want to just reintroduce yourself quickly. And if there's some like really good thing you're consuming right now, let us know what it is.
Ooh, consuming. Okay. I am Chelsi Dighton, and I am a wife and a mother, and I work at Cosmic CrossFit. And what I'm consuming right now is one of my podcasts. It's called, now I'm going to do that. Rob Dial, and it's a mindset mentor. And so it's shifting my mindset, and actually CrossFit got me into it. Wild.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm Sue Boyer. I work at Cosmic also. I'm one of the coaches there. Wife, mother, grandmother, dog mom. Not consuming a lot right now. Trying to rebuild a house that the dogs set fire to a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's probably consuming you.
That's what we're consuming right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you're okay.
Yes, me too.
All right. So we talked, like I said, we talked last episode about the finding strength, and we touched on community, but I want to dive a little deeper there. And just start with, why do you choose community fitness? So that's one of the big aspects of the CrossFit mode. Why do you choose the community aspect? And then what have you gained from that?
I choose the community. Like I said last time, I played softball, so I was part of a team my whole life. So I need those people. I'm also really competitive, so I need people to push me. If I was in the gym by myself, I wouldn't get that push. And accountability, the accountability. And sounds so silly, but when you do get a new PR, like I like having everyone be excited for me. Like that's pretty cool. So I choose the community for many different reasons, honestly. And I forgot the second question.
No, yeah, you answered it.
Okay.
Pretty much the same reason. The community is like just someone counting on me, the accountability. It makes it easier to show up when you know that there's people there and they become a family. I mean, I have my own family, but this is this is people I actually spend time with more than my family. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. And when it can go beyond just, you say hi, right? I mean, I just think when I'm on the running trail and someone passes me, I say hello, I say good morning, I give a little, but we're not in community. Yeah, we're in the same place, we're doing the same thing. But in a CrossFit class, what I've learned is like you do build those connections. And even if they don't necessarily leave the gym, it is like, oh, I'm happy to see this person. This person's happy to see me, and I can connect deeper. We were sharing earlier, you talked about softball. I was on the drill team, and the best part about it was my friends. It was the fun we had. I mean, I can't remember any of our dances, but I can remember trips to away games. Correct. Or, 1 year a couple of us went to New York City and got to, dance at the Statue of Liberty. But it was these amazing experiences that we shared together and those connections. And again, some of my greatest and long-lasting, high school friendships were from girls on the dance team because we were in this shared community.
Right. That makes me think back to softball too, because you're right, they relate so well. I played on this team, and when you play on this team, if you're a middle infielder, you got to trust that other middle infielder, right? So the trust is there, but that also comes like when you, not even just a partner workout, but when you are doing a partner workout, you're trusting that person. And you know what? Maybe you are the fitter person. Maybe you're not. It doesn't matter because you're going to be cheering on each other because you have the same goal. So say there's a running workout and Sue's my partner. She's going to be able to push me on that run, and she's going to cheer me on because she knows I struggle with it, or vice versa if there was something else. So that trust and that friendship and all the things that come with it, it relates, like you said, in so many different ways.
And if you're lucky, it extends out of the gym too.
Yeah.
Getting to know the people and finding out like what's going on in their life and caring enough to ask them and for them to care enough to ask me.
Yeah.
big. That's a big deal too, because I think in our world anymore, we're so consumed with just us that we forget about everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that helps me a lot. Remember, okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
It's about, there's a bigger picture here.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the competition that our gym
Right.
held recently, and none of us competed in that, right? But it was exciting to see these people accomplish something new or push themselves to a new limit. And, you mentioned the whole celebrating together. I mean, I just was instantly brought back to when the Astros made it to the ACLS. Yeah. And that celebration in the locker room and the champagne and the beers on everybody, right? But like, it was fun because they were together, because it was
They
a
did it together.
team and it was a connection, and that there's relationships there. And so, yeah, I definitely can see where there's just a bigger push. I shared before that I started my fitness journey just working out by myself in the living room, and that was helpful, and it was, that was good, and I could do it. But then I was like, but now what?
Yeah.
And I started going to the rec center, but I didn't meet one person there. And if someone did try to talk to me, I'm like, leave me alone, weirdo.
Right.
I'm kind of in the zone, right?
Right.
But then at CrossFit or this community style workout, like you're given us space to build those connections. What does it cost to be in a fitness community? What's the cost of that?
So it depends on what you mean by cost. But so if you're someone who does like the regular gym, what it's going to look like if you come into our gym, there's a cost of you don't get to do what you want to do. You're coming in and you're doing the programmed workout. So if you don't like something, you're still going to come in and you're going to do it, which chances are you probably need to work on that skill anyway. But that's one of the things is you're going to have to come in and do what is on the board. But it's programmed that way for a reason. So you, again, trust it. I guess another cost would be they are classes, right? So class starts at 4:30. You got to be there at 4:30. Like you have to schedule that in. So if you're wanting to do the class aspect of it, that's another thing that, I mean, you just have to know that it is a cost of doing CrossFit, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Chelsi said it all there. It's like, and you have to determine, is this cost worth it to me? But that's what the community, there we go again, community, the cost of making sure you make it to the class.
Yeah.
I think with that as well, if you are someone who has been going to the gym by yourself, you're going to have the community now, and you're going to have people to push you. And they have a different pace than you do. I know this from personal experience. My pace is a lot slower than a lot of other people's, and you figure that out about yourself. So you have to slow down, or you have to go fast, whatever it may be. Everyone's in different places, but the class flows or whatever, and you try to find your spot within there.
Some of the cost is your vulnerability too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We talked a little bit about that in the last episode, but if we're being honest, I think the cost is there is also comparison.
Oh,
Right.
gosh.
Right.
Yes.
So you're not by yourself doing what you know you can do well, or even trying something hard and failing where no one can see you.
Right.
But now there's comparison. I remember when I first started CrossFit, they're like, so the points don't matter, but we do write them down.
Yeah.
Right. Of like, and
So they matter.
Yeah. And we don't do this at our gym, but lots of us do write them on the board, and you can see,
I
and
love that too.
and so that there is this, and that's not really with a goal of who's best or worst, but it's like, hey, look what these people are doing, so that you can, again, push yourself. And the founder of CrossFit, he said that. He's like, there is nothing like the human spirit of competition.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, there is nothing like that. And so while CrossFit is an individual sport, you are competing with everyone else in the room, even if it's just to like not be dead last or not be 10 minutes later than everybody else. Like I'll be last, but I want to end like within a minute or two, or
that. And it's funny because you're competing against your friends.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're like, man, I wish you well, but I also want to do well. Yeah. But one of the things I'm learning right now, because I'm going through my own thing with my coach, is I have to change some of the workout. Like I have to change my mind for the workouts, because I am someone who always, like, I'm going to try to beat you. And I don't mean to be that way. I go into the workout thinking I'm not going to be that way, but it doesn't matter. I'm always there. I'm like, oh, you got 751. I'm going to get 750. I don't ever get 750. I'm always way behind. But that's where I got to shift my mind too, is like, okay, I can't go at her pace. I'm going to have to switch it up and figure out I got to go slow at the beginning and then I can hit it at the end. And I'm a lot closer when I do it that way too.
Right.
So it's a lot. You learn a lot too.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah. I was going to say that's, I think, one of the costs as well. Like Sue mentioned, the vulnerability, but you also, I mean, isn't that with any relationship?
Yes.
Right. I remember early, on in 2020 when we were asked and expected to kind of remove ourselves from a lot of people. Right. And I remember just holding on to this idea of like every relationship has risk, every relationship. And so I'm going to start to decide which relationships are worth this added risk right now. Right. I'm going to take it because for me, it was like this reality that anytime I do anything with anyone else, there's a cost. I'm not the only person in the room. They're taking some of my oxygen. I mean, we could get down to it, right? I'm not the center of attention or whatever, the star in my own movie. Now there's a supporting role, but they're there, right? And so this reality that it moves you that it's not all about you.
Oh,
Right.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see value in some of these costs? I mean, I would say, yeah. What are the value you pay for them? So what are the values that you see in these costs that you're willing to pay? Like, why are you willing to make those payments?
I feel it's just going to be the reverse answer for the cost. So I need a class. I need someone to say you have to be here at 4:30. Get here at 4:30. I need that. If I'm wanting to get better, I need that. I need that rule or that whatever you want to call it. I have to be there. So that's really good for me. And we have to reserve. So like that helps with the accountability part. And yeah, I struggle when I compete against some of the people, but I need that in my life. I know that I'm hungry for a competition. So although I struggle with it, I would do it every single day because I need that in my life. I need that push. I need to be able to work that hard. And I also need to learn. So I think it's working in different ways as well because I'm learning a lot more about myself, which is transferring everywhere else. So there are costs, but like I said, they're 100% worth it. If you are in the right mindset, like if this is what you want, if you want to work in this community and you want to make it happen, then you see that those costs are worth it.
Sure.
But you have to be in the right mindset too.
Where I'm learning right now with like the cost of working out when a group is like, okay, I can't do what they're doing. I've had to learn that I can't, at this point, I just can't, and learning to accept it.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of CrossFit too. So yeah, these workouts are really hard, and maybe you can't do them. Everyone can modify. We can modify the movement. We can modify the reps. We can modify anything to make it fit for you. And that, like, you'll see in the community, everyone is doing something different.
Yeah. So I think for me, like what makes it willing to pay the cost is definitely that accountability, right? That I like how you said, you got to be there 4:30. And this is the first time I've been at where you like have to like let someone know you're coming, and then if you let them know and you don't, I was told there's a penalty. Don't tell me if that's not true because it helps me make that decision and be like, I'm not cooking it till I'm out the door. But I think that's helpful, right? Again, you can look at the 24-hour model of like, come when you want, do what you want, or don't. We don't care. Right. But we can look at that in other places too beyond fitness, right? Where someone's actually expecting you. The cost of that as well, you could potentially let them down.
Right.
I think also again, just in the spirit of transparent honesty, like one of the costs is with that competition is you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so that can happen in the gym. We've all experienced that. But again, kind of back to this idea of being in community. Well, when you let people in, people get to know you, they can hurt you. Right.
Right.
They
Correct.
can disappoint you, whether they intend to or not. Right. That is this cost.
Yep.
To showing up,
Right.
and being seen, being known in a community. And then, so my question is, well, what makes that worth it?
Well, I mean, that's life. That's in every aspect of your life, right?
Yes.
But I feel like the cost of not doing that is worse, if that makes sense. I'm a people person for the most part, I am like, once I'm done with my people, it's like I'm home and I'm like, oh, I can really like relax. But being at the gym, those are my people. And yes, I would be heartbroken. So if someone were to hurt me, whether it be intentional or not, I would be devastated. But in the outcome, like I at least am giving them an opportunity to be my friend, because most of the time the people in this gym are not going to hurt you, especially on purpose. They're going to take care of you. That's what we do. So the taking the chance, being vulnerable myself, to have those people, there is no cost. Like that, what they say is priceless.
Yeah.
And there are going to be people, it's just, that's life. There are going to be people who are a little rotten. And I have experienced that. And I just I still support them in the gym and I still want to see them succeed. I just kind of pull myself back a little bit to understand that I am putting myself out there, and sometimes you're taken advantage of, and you need to recognize that. And that happens at work, that happens at church, that happens everywhere. So, I mean, like I said, there's a cost. But for that one rotten apple, like I am getting so many people that are in my corner and wish me well and are happy to see me. So it's just, it is worth it to me.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm working out, like I need that.
I think I remember realizing that not everyone in the gym had as pure as intentions as I did.
Yeah.
And it really shocked me because I was kind of, we're a family, we're friends, everyone's just here to better themselves. And then I had to, and even was probably blind to a few comments or even actions that were probably not so innocent and pure. And I had to kind of like, oh, wait a second, you know? And I would say that, that's one of those costs of community that you can't just assume everyone is there with the same perception that you bring. And isn't that true, like with friends and family and coworkers and church, like these other places where you find yourself in circles, we often think the whole world thinks just like me. That's why we're like, our minds blown when people do things we wouldn't do or say things we wouldn't say. We're like, what are you thinking? It's like, they're thinking the same about you. Why are you not doing this?
Your marriage, like not yours, but mine, just over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He doesn't make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich the way I did. And I looked at him like,
with him?
Yeah. And so then I did a poll on my business page and asked everyone how they did peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I thought everyone was going to be like, yes, Chelsi, just like you. No, there are some weird ways to do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but that's in everything. So now that one peanut butter and jelly sandwich has transformed my mind to everything in the gym, at home, in my marriage.
Right.
But now I'm a little bit more like, okay, you can make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich however you want.
Well, and again, like that's the value of also, I would always say about having multiple coaches.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you get the one who teaches the regular class for you and you get this connection and you want that person. And then someone else sees you and it's like, do you notice? You should try this, And there can be sometimes a lot of like, I know for me, I'd be like, well, why didn't my other coach tell me that? Oh, you must just be being picky, but realizing, oh no, they're seeing it
Different eyes.
from a different angle and a different view. And, again, that would be maybe not a cost, but like a gain of community. Yeah. Of like, or even just watching someone in the gym, like, oh, she did that differently. We did those shuttle runs last weekend, which, by the way, I was so sore from.
Correct.
And I was watching your husband do them. And I was like, how is he transferring? Because he's someone I think does pretty good stuff at the gym. So, and I saw him kind of as soon as he touched the line, he kind of jumped into the opposite way. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I started doing that. It's a lot of work, actually. Yeah. It was actually much more work to do it. I was faster.
But it's tiring.
But because I was able to I was just turning. I was, almost a 3-point turn, it felt like. And then this is a new way to do it.
Right.
Or a new coach comes in and teaches you a technique in a different way. Right. Or says something just, and I would argue even back to family, this is probably why village parenting was so helpful. Yeah. Because I can tell my kid to do something a million times. I'm going to say it in the same way. Right. And they're just not getting it. And then you can step in and say it one way differently. And they're like, Miss Chelsi is so smart. Yep. I've been telling you that.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they got it.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what matters.
They got that new thing. And so that's where I also see yeah, it's a cost because Miss Chelsea's, my ego's touched or whatever.
Right.
But in reality, now we're gaining,
Right.
new perspective.
Correct.
And even I can learn like, oh, well, maybe that's how
I
this
needed to
child
say
needs
it,
it. Yeah. Or this person, or again, when I was coaching, so the worst person to coach, I don't know if you experienced this, is your spouse, I believe.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. And so I remember like my first year of coaching, we were kind of on this, we went to actually L1 together. And so my husband, I would watch him with my husband, and my husband was so responsive. He was so good.
Yes.
Right. And so I remember texting or calling him like, tell me your secrets, because I cannot get him.
you.
He's like, I don't know. I just tell him what I want him to do. And I'm like, yeah, that's not working. And he's like, well, maybe because he's your husband.
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't
we're
work.
not married.
No.
And even to this day, I'm not even a coach at the gym, but I watch my husband and I'm like, oh, your back is rounded. Oh,
Yes.
And so I'm like, can I give you some feedback?
Yep.
I will say just asking that, total game changer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then he also knows, okay, you've given it to me. I don't have to take it.
Yep.
I don't have to do anything differently. You wanted to give. Great. Give it. I'll do what I want.
I unfortunately do understand what you're talking
All
about.
too much. That's not at a gym. That's life.
Yes.
That is life,
butter.
sister.
Yes. Yes, the peanut butter. That's
Yeah.
not a joke. That's for real. That's a real story.
So if more people were willing to show up in real community, whether that be fitness or, church, family, neighborhoods, how might our world be different? What would be the hope?
I feel like when you come into a new community, you kind of put your best self forward, and being vulnerable again. I feel like you get to know. I don't know. You get to know people when you're coming into it. You're trying to get to know people when you come into a new situation, a new family, a new community, and so you put your best foot forward, hoping that that's the right foot, right? You're hoping that people see the good, the genuine side of you, and then you hope that you see that side of people too. And now it's not always gonna happen, but if we all remember that we're starting there and we just continue to be that person, I feel like it could change so many different things. Not the whole world, obviously, but I think that's where it starts. Going back to like I'm raising my kids, and I want them to be kind humans, and we're going through school right now, and there's a little kid in school who has said some things or acted a certain way towards my daughter, and I'm upset by it because that's my baby girl, and I want her to be safe, and I want her to be happy and thrive and be in a good environment. So rather than being grumpy at that other kid, I'm teaching my daughter, like, hey, this is life. This is what happens. The important thing is that you are a good person and you respond appropriately and you are encouraging to other people and you're bringing them in. And if we're teaching our young kids that, why are we not doing that as adults? Where did that go away? Like, we should be doing that now, like, as adults in every aspect of our life, right? I mean, that's how I feel. But I don't know.
Just stepping out when you're going to a new community, like if I go to a new church, being vulnerable and being willing to take the chance to just walk up to just anybody and talk to them. For me, that's very scary.
It is.
So scary. But being willing to take that chance.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I disagree with you, Chelsi. I think it could change the whole world.
I hope you're right. I would pray that it does.
Yeah, because one thing I feel like, you said, where did we lose it? I think we lost it when we thought our community could be here.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes.
When we decided this is my community.
Yeah.
Such an inward posture,
Right.
which I actually believe is the reason why my arm hurts all the time.
I don't make me sit back.
But let's even talk about posture. So from here to here,
Yeah.
where
You're
I'm open, where my my
Welcoming.
center of who I am is exposed.
Right.
You could say my most vulnerable piece, right? Is actually out there
Right.
in the world. And when you also learn like, oh, it's not all about me. Oh, I'm not the center of attention. Oh, people think and act and do things differently, and I have to learn how to deal with it.
Accept it.
And I can't, and I've, make a commitment that that's not going to make me leave.
Right.
That I'm not going to choose, oh, if it's not easy
Right.
and all about me and just like I want it, well, then I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But instead, that person's kind of a jerk. Right. And we love him and we tell him.
Right.
And whatever, but we also still keep showing up.
Right.
I think that's something too we see. I mean, in families, in neighborhoods, we just have pulled away, almost unwilling to actually be in real community, vulnerable, accountable, costly community. And my hope would be if people were willing to actually try to be in real community. Everyone says they want it these days.
Yeah.
And yet I think in a lot of ways people are either lost or just too afraid to really try.
Right.
Because it's scary. It's so scary. And kind of like you were saying, if someone is being a jerk or something and you let them know, they're going to take it personal. I know when someone tells me that I've done something wrong, I take it very personal. And I'm like, no, I don't like them. No, they were just trying to help me. So I'm trying to learn that myself is you make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Yeah. Own the mistake, accept it, and learn from it and move from it. But it has to start not necessarily there, but that has to be a big part of it because we're not all going to agree.
Yeah.
No. Again, that's what makes the world go round. Like we were talking beforehand, we're not going to all agree on the same thing.
Yeah.
If we all did, life would be pretty boring.
Exactly. If we all accept everything that's presented to us without question.
Without questioning it.
It would be boring, right? And I mean, I always say that too. Like, honestly, a world full of Theas would drive me crazy.
Oh, just same.
Are you kidding?
Not
I mean,
of you, but of you.
You're like,
Room full of you can't handle it.
So what would you offer, just the next step someone could take if they were really willing to be in community?
It all comes down to being vulnerable. Taking a good, long, hard look at yourself in a mirror and figuring out what you want, where do you want to belong, what is it that you desire, and if that's something you want, then do it. Take the step, do it, figure out how to approach the situation, and kind of make a game plan moving forward. It's not going to go as your plan says, so be ready to pivot.
Yeah.
But finding a way, stepping out and finding a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make yourself vulnerable to, do I want to be in a situation that's going to make me better or that's going to drag me down?
Yeah. I think it's just as simple as just meet someone new.
Yeah.
Be open, right? Or just be that vulnerable, that ask. We're so afraid of a no.
It's a no.
Yeah, it's
okay.
just that I can't. It's odds are it's just I can't.
Right.
Right? I've already made another commitment. Not you stink and I hate you.
Right.
It's just
they accept no right now. Accept it. And that's hard to accept, but if we are open to accepting that, then it's gonna move forward. Just maybe not right now.
Yeah.
Just makes me try harder to make you want to say yes.
Yeah, someone told me, so as a church planner, someone who really is encouraged and inspired by opportunities to do something new, they were telling me you don't take no for no. You take no for I gotta ask you in a different way.
Right.
Or I gotta ask somebody else.
Right.
This dream is coming true.
Right.
With or without you.
Right.
This is all, it reminds me of a conversation we've had previously, but at my job, everyone thinks I'm like this big extrovert, bubbly, can talk to everyone, but really I'm not. It makes me so uncomfortable talking to people I don't know. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather not. I'd rather just keep my close few friends or whatever it may be. I just get really, really anxious about it. But we had a conversation about, it's good to have friends. And sometimes it's good to make new friends. And sometimes it's good to put yourself out there. And you told me that. And I was like, nope, not doing it. I'm not going to do it. That is so scary. But then there was a meet and greet or whatever at my daughter's school. And I was like, man, Thea challenged me to do this, and I am going to stay, and I'm not going to eat any of the donuts or drink the coffee, but I'm going to stay. And I had my son with me in the stroller, and I rolled up, and they were all standing by the donuts, and I kind of rolled over to the side by myself, and I was like, I could leave. And no one's paying attention. No one knows I'm here. I could leave. And then I saw the woman who runs the program, and I was like, so how does this work? How does this work? Do we, like, sit down? Do we take notes? And she's like, no, it's not a meeting. Like, you just go and you meet people. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I was like, I don't. And she's like, I'll introduce you to some people. And I was like, we're doing it. We're doing it. And so then she took me over to a couple other moms who had babies, and I had a nice conversation with them. Was I uncomfortable the whole entire time? Yes. But now when I see them, when I drop my daughter off at school, it's always, hey, how are you? One of the moms had a baby. We talked about her baby. Like, it actually turned out to be beautiful because I was willing to kind of step out there. But I was willing to ask. Like, I asked the woman, how does this work? Yeah. How do you make friends? Because they don't teach you that anymore. Like, it just happens when you're younger. That's one of the podcasts I was listening to. They don't teach you to make friends when you're an adult. They teach you. It was your podcast. I know. It was your podcast. I just now thought about it. Yeah. When your friend's episode, like, they don't. Your friend was absolutely right. They don't teach you how to be a friend anymore.
I was not going to make any more friends. No. All my friends continually moved and left away. Like, this was like after you had joined the gym, and then Denise had decided, all right, I'm done. I'm just done. Not going to do it anymore.
It's that cost.
It was my feelings just got like, I'm still friends with them. I still see them from time to time. They don't come to town as much as I thought they would. Or they moved away and said, yes, we're moving back. It's like, liar, liar, paint's on fire. But you know what? 2 of them have moved back closer. But then there was Chelsi. Yeah. And I just let Chelsi in. And now it's like, I can't go a day without Chelsi. She's going away. And it's like, no. She's my sunshine. She's my sanity.
That's so sweet.
Because I was willing to let it go and just get over myself and just like, yes, you need the friends.
Yeah. I think I shared with you guys before we recorded that I realized that I've really got people out here right now because of just some trauma that's happened the last couple of years. But I don't want it to be that way, you know, and y'all are like, you are talking to people at the gym. You are. And I'm like, I'm really trying. Like, I'm really pushing myself. And I too come across as very outgoing, and I am, and I love people. I'm a pastor for people, and people can hurt you. Yep. And so I do find myself, you know, this is how I want to live right now in defense, but ultimately I'm like, I just got to bend those elbows a little bit. Let people in. And I know no one else is looking around being like, I think Thea needs a new friend. Nobody. Right? And not because they don't like me, because they're here. Right. They're in their self, right? They're in that they're dealing with their own stuff. And so if I want community, connection, real relationship, I got to try it, you know. And back to you and I think we're texting like, okay, we're going to be friends. Like, we're just going to make this decision. Yeah. And that means we're going to show up and we're going to text each other and we're going to say hi. And like, we're going to do this. And we both know it's hard for both of us. Yes. And so we're going to give each other a lot of breaks. Space. Yeah. And a lot of, no pressure, but we are going to, do this and be willing to build that community. Yeah. Yeah. And to know that although it's messier and more difficult, it's much more beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's much more beautiful.
And again, pulling it back to the community of CrossFit, like in the gym when we're working out, you don't have your phones on you. Like you are cheering each other on. So that's kind of the beauty of it there. Yeah. Like you do get to see them for them. Because when you are not able to breathe in a workout or you are struggling so hard with something, that's where everyone else is encouraging you. But you're also being vulnerable. That was one of the things with me taking this new step of trying to improve myself. What if people see me fail? I am I am the person that everyone knows in this gym because I talk to everyone, I communicate, I try to get them in the gym. So you feel like you need to be up here. But what if they see me fail? Like, what if they think I'm a fraud? Like, that's scary. And even today I was messing up and I looked at Ryan and I was like, I am being a very bad example right now because I was not getting my muscle up and I was really sad about it. And he was like, you're fine. You're struggling. It's fine. Everyone struggles. So the community sees that and they're able to pick you up and help you through all of it. So again, there's so many costs, but it's just so worth it.
I think when the community does see you vulnerable, when they see you in that light, it's like, oh, she's a pretty cool person. She struggles just like I do.
She's real.
She's real.
It was very real today.
Yeah.
But I think even as a coach, they need to see me being real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as leaders, right? One of my favorites, Craig Rochelle, says people don't want to follow someone who's right. They want to follow someone who's real.
Yeah.
And the more that we can be real and honest, even about how difficult it is to be in community connection on a team, all that stuff, I think that can really go far. So thank you, ladies, for this conversation. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for tuning in. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts about community? How's it hard? What does it cost? And what's the value that you gain? You can send those to sheleadscomments@gmail.com. Yep, that's it. And check out the show notes to see how you can connect with our guest, as well as visit the She Leads website and buy some She Leads merch and support the She Leads journey. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. She Leads is produced by me, Thea Curry-Fuson, recorded and edited by Pearland Podcast Studios. All thoughts and expressions shared by the guests are theirs and not the organizations they're affiliated with. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out next week to continue the conversation on She Leads.